Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we get a chance to take a look at another of the 2019 Safari LTD lineup that was just released this year, and it is their brand new Stegosaurus. This Stegosaurus is just beautiful at first glance. You can really see just how very nice, very striking looking this Stegosaurus is. But one thing that is really cool about this is, if you notice, you can kind of get a glimpse of the fact that the overall stance and sculpt is a little different from what you would normally see with a Stegosaurus, and that is because this is the most up-to-date Stegosaurus that you're probably going to find anywhere as far as being scientifically accurate with the sculpt. That is one huge plus for this Stegosaurus. So Safari LTD has really hammered out all the current thoughts and opinions of what Stegosaurus looked like, and this is exactly what you would get. It really honestly looks so beautiful with the way it's sculpted, and Safari LTD should definitely be commended for that. But on top of that, the overall appearance of this Stegosaurus looks just absolutely fantastic, so let's get a closer look at it. So starting up here at the head sculpt, you can see the head sculpt just looks in general fantastic. Very nicely sculpted out nostrils, given a nice dark coloration on the inside to really elaborate the nostrils. The eyes have a nice brown coloration with a black pupil. They look very good. They appear to have a gloss to really give them a little bit of a shine, a very realistic look. And they've painted like a darker coloration kind of around the eye to really help elaborate the eye, and I think that really pays off when it comes to this figure. Helps to really give it a very beautiful appearance. The beak looks very nice as well. Beautiful details sculpted within. You can kind of get an idea of some hanging skin here in the throat of the Stegosaurus. Beautiful scale work in that general area, and the entire face sculpt has some very nice, very small, minute detailing that they've included, so that looks very good as well. Just look how incredibly well sculpted that head is, and the face in general. Really beautifully done on the part of Safari LTD. As you move back here right behind the head, you can take note of the ears of the Stegosaurus being present, and the plates start to pick up here, and you can kind of see that they are like a light orange coloration, and then there's kind of like a black stripe in the middle. There's some very nice sculpt work within the actual plates as well, and if you take a look at the neck, you can really see some very nice creases and folding of the skin as the Stegosaurus has its head turned to the left, so it's kind of bunching the skin up here in the neck. Really beautiful attention to detail as always on the part of Safari LTD. And then as you come back, you can get an idea of the bone structure of the Stegosaurus really brilliantly with this huge, gigantic shoulder blade. It's just pushing through the skin so realistically. It really honestly gives you the feeling that there is a bone structure underneath here. It honestly looks like it has bones under that area. So that's really beautiful on the part of Safari LTD to pull something like that off so naturally and realistic looking. That really genuinely looks like there's a shoulder blade underneath there. And if I took a little knife and cut that open, I would actually find the bones of the Stegosaurus. But regardless, as we move down the leg, you can really see the beautiful skin texture. It really gives off the feeling that it's a very large animal, which is exactly what it would be. And you can see all sorts of creases and folding of the skin, really showing the movement of the leg. And here is one of the areas which I think is just super cool and a very nice touch on the part of Safari LTD, because as you come down into the foot of the Stegosaurus, it just in general has mud all over its feet, really giving you the idea that this thing has just been tromping through some mud somewhere, kind of probably foraging, looking for some food. And in general, all the feet have this on it, this kind of a very muddy type of a look on the feet, and I really love that. That's something I've never seen before from any company previously. So Safari LTD, as always, innovating and keeping their figures very fresh and new feeling. So I love this addition of the mud on the feet. That is just absolutely awesome. As you come up into the stomach, you can see some very nice sculpt work as far as the small minute details of the stomach go. Some beautiful skin folds down here in the lower part of the stomach. You can kind of see the skin bunching up a little bit here as the Stegosaurus's left rear leg is pulling up into the stomach. Beautiful hip bone up here, very nicely elaborated, just like the shoulder blade. You can really get an idea of the musculature of the rear leg as well. Beautiful calf muscles. As we move down into the feet, you can again take note of that very nice mud application and the beautifully painted nails. They're just a black coloration, but they look very good. And then we come up into the tail, and again you can really see the very nice sculpting of the small minute details, and we move out into the tail spikes, which also look very good. They're very dark coloration, similar to the rest of the body, which is nice to see because it's not something you often see on a Stegosaurus. Normally the tail spikes are more of a lighter coloration to really help elaborate them, but this could have been the way a Stegosaurus tail spike looked, and I think it's really nice the way they've done it. Beautifully painted, very naturally and realistically painted. If we take a look at the plates on the top, you can see how really striking they look with those black stripes that run in, and they're kind of like a brown coloration, similar to the rest of the body, but then they have an orange center, really making them look just so super striking, and all the paint looks to be applied very beautifully, very naturally. And if you get a nice closer look here, look how incredible the sculpt work is of the actual plates. There is just so much that has been put into just the plates. Really, really nice work, again, on the part of Safari LTD. They just never stop impressing me. Beautiful sculpt work on this side, and you can kind of see a little bit less as far as the creasing of the skin of the neck. As I said, the Stegosaurus is turning its head to the left, so it's kind of stretching the skin out now on this side. So beautiful attention to detail paid there. Again, that very nice shoulder blade there, elaborated from the skin. But I kind of get the feeling that it's not quite as elaborated as you see on the other side, but I think that is because if you look at this foot, it kind of looks like this foot here is planted down into the ground, so it's really forcing the muscles and bones to appear, but on this side it's kind of picking its leg up a little bit, I think, so it's not quite as defined. So as always, super cool touch on the part of Safari LTD, something you may not even pick up on unless you're really paying attention to the small things that are included in the sculpt. I love little things like that they throw in, just making these figures look so much more real than most figures would. Beautiful detailing again on the stomach. You can see some very nice skin folds at the bottom. Really nice skin texture here in the stomach. It's a little bit beefy, so it's pretty well fed. And there's some nice musculature here in the thigh as we run down into the calf. Again, beautiful muscle tone there as well. And then we get down into the mud on both the front and rear foot. That mud is just super cool. And then we come out into the tail. You can see some creases in the skin and everything as we extend the tail out to a beautiful curved end here with the tail spikes. And the plates up here on the top are just as beautifully done on this side as they are on the other side. Even the center in between the plates just looks really, really nice. The underbelly also really beautifully done. You can see the cloaca there for that extra bit of realism and scientific accuracy. So this Stegosaurus is just absolutely fantastic. The coloration of the actual Stegosaurus is really nicely done as well. It's a mixture of like light browns and dark browns, almost like a burnt umber. So they've done a really good job of adding different skin tones, and the overall paint application is really beautiful. It's been airbrushed on, it looks very natural, very realistic, and then kind of tapers off to a lighter coloration in the snout to help elaborate the head and really draw your attention to that beautiful area there as well. So I think the paint application is pretty much perfect and exactly what I like to see on a Stegosaurus. I think they've done a really good job on their choices of the paint. As far as the size goes on this Stegosaurus, from the head to the tail, you are looking about 8 inches on the dot, or about 20.5 centimeters. And for a height, the highest point would probably be that plate there near the hip region, and you're looking at about 4.25 inches, or a little under 11 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is the 2019 Safari LTD Pteranodon, and you can see that it is a very large looking Pteranodon. But if you happen to already own the Pteranodon figure, it should give you a good idea of what the size of the Stegosaurus is. And in another size comparison, and it's one that I'm sure a lot of you, like myself, are intrigued to see next to each other, this is the 2019 Safari LTD Allosaurus next to the 2019 Safari LTD Stegosaurus, and they just look super, super cool together. This again should give you an idea of the size, but man, that's such a cool diorama. If we put them together maybe like this, right there is kind of the pose that I would like to see it in. Maybe the Allosaurus is coming in, actually maybe a little closer to the neck. Something like that. He's about to come in for a bite, and the Stegosaurus is starting to swing its tail over to take out that Allosaurus. It's really like a beautiful image, just trapped and caught in time and brought to us from Safari LTD. This could make one heck of an amazing looking diorama. But again, the point of this was to show you the size, So that's the size of the Stego next to the Allosaurus. Very, very cool looking together. So the 2019 Safari LTD Stegosaurus is pure beauty. I don't have a single complaint about it at all. The entire thing just looks so striking, but so realistic looking that I just cannot help but love it. The sculpt of the actual Stegosaurus and all the very small details and everything just looks great. They haven't skimped out anywhere as far as the sculpting of the skin texture or the small details like the movement of the skin. I think they've all portrayed that perfectly within the sculpt. And the fact that it is so scientifically accurate just makes this Stegosaurus so much more beautiful than most other Stegosaurus offerings that are out there currently. This thing just looks absolutely beautiful in person. I think the paint that they have chosen is honestly perfect and really looks beautiful. They've applied it very naturally and very realistically, and it gives it, again, like I said, a very striking and flashy look, but at the same time a very natural look, which is a huge plus, because although I can appreciate a flashy figure from time to time, I would much rather my figures look flashy, but at the same time realistic looking, something I could definitely see a Stegosaurus being, and that is 100% what I see here with this figure from Safari LTD. I think the pose is very cool as well, just kind of casually walking along, but at the same time it's got its tail out, which you can clearly see is preparing to defend itself, which I think really meshes so well with the Allosaurus from Safari LTD this year, like I just showed you guys. So I think that was possibly done on purpose to really give you a chance at a beautiful diorama if you have both of those figures. Another very cool touch on the part of Safari LTD. So this Stegosaurus, like I said, pure awesomeness. I absolutely love it. If you want to buy one for yourself, definitely head straight over to the Safari LTD store and purchase yourself this Stegosaurus, because I completely recommend it. I will throw a link in the description for you if you would like to buy it. Just go ahead, click the description, find that link, click it, head over there, and buy this Stegosaurus right away, because it is absolutely awesome. And before you do that, don't forget to please like, comment, and definitely subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.